an exciting day. I love being able to talk about our Hokies. It's a long day. I told the guys they'll feel like they got their butt kicked at the end of it. But there's a lot of excitement around our program. One of the big reasons is these three guys that I was fortunate enough to bring today. I want to thank them for their time and effort. I want to thank Dr. Sands, our university president. I want to thank Whit Babcock, our athletic director. I want to thank the Hokie Nation, selling out 5 or 6 games last year in the middle of a rebuild. We've got some good momentum, but nowhere yet are we the team that we can be. We need to have a heck of a camp. The guys got a great mindset. They're invested everywhere they need to be invested. I'm excited about the team that we can be. I'll take some questions.
We've got microphones spread throughout the room, folks, if you would. Even though you may know Coach, please introduce yourselves for those that are watching at home and in their offices. Coach, we'll start to the right-hand side, far right-hand side, about the 4th row here.
Hey, Coach. Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Going into year 3, I'm curious, what do you feel like you've achieved with this program already, and what kind of is still out there that you feel like, hey, to be where we want to be, I need to get this done?
Yeah, I think first of all, it speaks volumes to the culture in our locker room, in our building. We've got great people that want to be at Tech for the right reasons, players and coaches. We've got players that decided to return and spurn the NFL, spurn other opportunities, maybe to make more money. We've got coaches that turn down opportunities to stay at Virginia Tech. There's a belief in our team. There's a belief in our process. The culture's strong, and to me, that's where it starts.
Coach, from the podium, all that said, how do you define accomplished greatness?
I think, first of all, for me, it's about doing things the right way, at a high level, and we're doing that. We've got great kids that are committed in the right places, that understand accountability, that aren't afraid of hard conversations, that love and understand what great competition does for you. They pay attention to details, and they work and are receptive to coaching mentality each and every day.
Coach, right side, 3rd row.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Your last post before this, you were a defensive coordinator at Penn State under James Franklin, and Manny Diaz was also just a defensive coordinator there. He now gets an opportunity as a head coach at Duke, same conference, kind of a full circle moment. What does that say about the way James Franklin runs his program and how he sets up his staffers for success?
Yeah, first of all, James Franklin I consider to be one of my best friends. We came up in this business together. He played quarterback for my father at East Stroudsburg. I was a young coach on the staff, and he gave me a great opportunity at Vanderbilt and then at Penn State. I learned a ton from James. But, I think he's done a great job. Ricky Ronnie at Old Dominion, Charles Huff at Marshall. He's doing things the right way, and I got a ton of respect for him. I got a ton of respect for Manny. I wish him a ton of luck all season long except for 1 week.
Coach, left side, we're going to go about midway through. Sir, if you'd raise your hand, please, so Coach can see you. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Todd Tracy, Legacy Maker Sports Network. So, Coach, tell me about the now this year, Virginia Tech and Miami rivalries coming back this season. Tell me about the expectation on that one, how excited about bringing that back to for the program stuff.
I'm sorry, bringing what back?
The Miami Hurricanes versus Virginia Tech rivalry. Tell you about that, and what's the excitement about that?
Yeah, it's hard for me to talk about that because right now all I want to talk about is our preseason camp. But I do understand what that rivalry means to Virginia Tech faithful, to the alum, to the fans, former players. I was part of some big games in the 3 years that I was at Virginia Tech. So I do understand that. I mean, it's good for college football. It's good for the ACC. I'm excited about the game, but it's pretty far down the road for us right now.
Coach, left side, young lady in the suit there.
I'm Katrina Sackman for Sports and Culture Media. Coach, how are you?
Good.
You have some big guys returning. Your top 4 receivers have returned. What are your expectations from this receiver room?
Yeah, I'm very proud of that room. Arguably a real concern, our most concerning position going into last season. And this year, I'd say, could be one of our greatest strengths. Coach Mines has done a great job developing those guys, recruiting to that room. I think the competition that we create with our defensive backs, with Dorian and Mansour and those guys. I think the relationship that Kyron has with those wide receivers has been critical. There's a lot of good things happening in that room.
Coach, left side, follow the aisle up just at the end there.
Yep.
Hey, Coach. Faxon Childress, 105.5 The Roar. Wanted to ask you a little bit about the continuity and the retention in your roster and the NIL and transfer portal era. What you guys were able to do this offseason is very, very rare. How valuable is it to have the most returning production in the country back at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I think that's valuable for anybody. You want that. I think it goes into bringing the right people into your program, guys that want to be at Tech for the right reasons. I think it goes back to being a strong brotherhood. These guys love playing together. They believe in each other. They believe in team first. They enjoy Virginia Tech. I tell it all the time. I meet with each and every player at the end of the spring. And the last question I ask them is, do you like it here? And to a man, all but 4 or 5, the response was, Coach, I don't just like it here, I love it here. You know, and thankful for our collectives, for the Hokie Way and for Triumph. You know, we don't go outbid anybody for anybody, but we're going to be competitive and aggressive in that space. Our guys deserve that.
Coach, right side, first row.
Lever KT, CFP Nation. How's it going, Coach? Nice seeing you again. Lane Stadium has the best game day atmosphere.
Thank you.
In
Yeah,
the
you're right.
country.
Yeah.
Enter Sandman comes on. It's an outer body experience. It's difficult to explain. What is it like coaching here on Saturdays?
Oh, man, I love running out of that tunnel. Even when I watch the highlight video of it, I get, chills. It's special. I think for all of us, you love the competition. You love playing in front of big crowds. You love the excitement of the entrance. And so we're very fortunate that way. I think our fans are some of the best in the country, and they pack the place, and they're jumping to that tune. And I mean, we come out of the locker room, and Johnny Cash's God Will Cut You Down is just kind of slow playing as you take that walk. By the time you hit that tunnel, man, it's the best. So I just try and make sure I don't stumble coming out. That's all.
Coach, right side, third row, gentleman in white.
Hey, Coach. TJ Wilkerson from 90.9 The Light. Before you became a head coach, you had 30 years of coaching experience. My question is, how did that all prep you to become the head coach of what is considered the flagship school of Virginia?
He said that. I didn't. First of all, I'm fortunate to have been around some great coaches, starting with my father, 45-year veteran coach, college, high school level. He and I have the distinction of both coaching in a Rose Bowl and both losing to USC in a Rose Bowl. So he's my greatest influence, learned a lot from him. And then obviously James Franklin, Jeff Monken, Ricky Bussell, Bud Foster, Frank Beamer, so many guys that you learn so many good things from. And also, honestly, you learn some things that you don't want to do. That's just not how you want to do it. Now, there was no recipe and no playbook, no handbook for NIL and the transfer portal when I got to Tech. We hadn't had those experiences yet, but, I think I'm blessed and fortunate to have been around some great coaches, man, the guys that cared about the players and were relationship-oriented. I still today, when I see Coach Beamer, I feel like a young GA. I mean, I just want to make him proud. I got a ton of respect for him. I see Bud Foster at our practices all the time. He's my greatest defensive mentor. So I'm very fortunate to be the head coach of Virginia Tech, and all of those people and all of those factors, played a part in me having this opportunity.
Coach, we're going to go up the aisle to the right. It's a little dark back there, sir. If you'll raise your hand. There we go.
Hi, Brent. Gene Wong, Washington Post. What strides have you been able to make from year one until now in terms of recruiting from the DMV? I know you had mentioned the importance of tapping into the talent from the National Capital Region to get the program where you want it to go.
Yeah, to me, that's home turf. It's too easy to get to Blacksburg from the DMV. There's too many relationships that we have on our staff with coaches and programs in the DMV. There's too many great programs to not return to the DMV each and every year. We treat it like home turf. And we've made some good strides there. We're invested there like we are in the Commonwealth. It just makes too much sense for us.
Coach, to your left, against the wall, the gentleman with the light ring there.
Coach Rob Johnson, Legacy Maker Sports. When you talk to these legends that have come before you, How hungry does it make you to bring back that standard? I talked about that with Florida State yesterday, keeping that standard. When you talk about Virginia Tech's standard, how hungry are you to bring that standard back along with your players?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. That's one of the reasons I returned to Tech. I want those expectations. I understand those standards. People talk about how do you handle the expectations. Well, we all know that has nothing to do with the team that we can be when we go to Nashville. But at the same time, we all came to Virginia Tech because of those expectations. This is a place where you should expect to compete for the playoffs and expect to compete for a championship. That's who Tech is.
Coach, all the way to the back of the room in the camera pit.
Back here.
All the way in the back, so towards the left.
Gotcha.
It's Brooke.
There we
Yep.
go.
Hey, Brooke.
Is there a win that you had in the offseason that you'd be willing to share with us?
I'm sorry, you said a win?
A win.
Yeah, it's called 3 weeks of vacation. I tell you what, the thing I'm most proud of is there was no sign of complacency on our football team. Our staff, our players, there a lot of pats on the back. There was success, there was accomplishments, and there was no sign of anybody coming off the gas, which I was very proud of. I consider that our biggest win this offseason.
Coach, as we finish our time with you here from the podium, I want to follow up. You said that you're looking forward to having a heck of a camp. At the end of August, how will you know you had a heck of a camp?
Yeah, to me, there's always weaknesses. There's areas you know you can be better at. There's areas you know through experiences you've got to be better than where you're at now. It can be depth. It can be technique. It can be somebody getting a fundamental